everybody. Welcome back to the Routine Podcast.
Gymnastics Conversations.
I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Chelsea's mom, Diana.
And we're back for episode 49.
Almost at 50, huh?
Almost at 50.
Good.
And it's officially the end of the regular season.
And it went so fast.
It did. But in a good way. I feel like it was a good season. There were some scoring controversies.
Not a whole bunch compared to last year.
You think?
Last year felt worse in terms of scoring.
I think this year felt worse.
Really?
I feel like last year was just like, it's college gymnastics. It is what it is. But this year was like, that's like almost kind of cheating.
We're going to be talking to Mary and Jason Fredericks of Road to Nationals. It's going to be interesting to see whether people actually use the video, the new thing that he talked about where he's encouraging teams to upload video. I'm going to find out whether or not that actually started happening. Because remember, that was going to be the great equalizer, that you could see anybody's routine online and you could see it all at one time. And so you can compare a 10 to a 10 to a 10. So we'll find out from him whether or not people actually utilize that this year.
And I feel like this past weekend, it was senior meets. So I think everyone was a little just like, okay, let's just let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's their last meet.
That's what you were encouraging last episode when it came to Alicia Boren. She's a senior.
But it was also a 10-0 floor routine. But what do you say we just hop right into meet recaps?
I think that's a really good idea because we've got a really good episode today. We actually went to a meet with lesser known teams, which is what we've been talking about all season. We finally had the opportunity to do that. So a lot of this episode is going to be about that. But meet recaps, I think we should start with UCLA. Let's start on the West Coast this time.
Sure. That was probably the most anticipated meet of the weekend.
It really was. And we actually got the chance to watch it together.
We did.
On your little bitty iPhone screen.
Yeah, for whatever reason, the bootleg links weren't working on my laptop, so we had to watch it on my phone.
Which was fine. It was a struggle for Kyla for the first time all season.
I feel like that
just on
was
2 events, though. Not
I
all.
know, right? Yeah. But I feel like overall that meet was like the epitome of senior meets and people having like a range of emotions and like wanting to outperform.
Sure.
But I think once they got into like the 3rd and 4th rotation, everyone just started to settle down a little bit.
Did you feel that way at your senior meet? Do you remember when it came to performing?
Yeah, I fell.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
On floor?
Yeah. On like a pass that's like I could do with my eyes closed.
It was the front pass?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. See how I just like selectively totally forgot that?
Yeah, I don't really forget that.
I was going to say, I hate that I reminded you of it.
Obviously, as a gymnast, performing when there's a lot of pressure on you is not easy.
Sure.
So
was it that people put pressure on you or you put pressure on yourself? This is my last one that I'm going to do.
I think it's both.
Okay.
And it's hard because you obviously say like, oh, like don't put a lot of pressure on yourself, but like,
yeah,
you can't.
Right.
It is like everyone keeps reminding you like, oh, this is your last time going to be performing this. Oh, this is the last practice for this.
Oh, gosh.
So it's hard to. And then for UCLA, it was Miss Val's last meet.
Yeah,
so that's the added pressure on them.
Right. The thing about UCLA, too, there were 12,000 people in the Poly Pavilion. That's
crazy.
Just crazy.
And for them, they hadn't been averaging for the past couple years near capacity, and then all of a sudden this year they're just filling the arena.
Well, that happens when you're a national champion,
or when one of the gymnast routines goes viral,
or when Miss Val writes a book,
or when the director of High School Musical comes to the meet. Like, that's so Hollywood.
It really was.
Yeah.
And then and again, for those that didn't get the chance to see it, at the end of the meet, and everybody was thanking everybody and congratulating each other. Miss Val was thanking the students for coming. And then she said, and she was listing all the people who showed up. And there was this Hollywood director who showed up that she's doing a shout out to. So then she says, Kate, point, and Kate runs and hugs the Hollywood director. But it's to your point. I mean, that's what UCLA is.
It is.
I mean, the other thing that just was the epitome to me of UCLA, and then we'll get back to Kyla, but you had one of the gymnasts on bars, I think it was Grace Glenn. She kind of missed her pack salto, so she just kind of scooted across the floor. And she was like laughing almost hysterically, which I can just think.
It was like even before she like hit the floor, she was already laughing.
Right. And I can just think of like some of the other teams like Oklahoma or LSU, right?
Like it's not funny.
No, we're not laughing about that. And everybody's just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. It is kind of funny how like the atmosphere at UCLA is so laid back.
Yeah, it's pretty refreshing actually.
It is. And I feel like that meet wasn't as wonky scoring as people thought it was going to be. I feel like it was pretty calm, and the majority of the scores were deserved in my opinion.
I agree. And so back to Kyla.
She got her grand slam.
She did.
She got a 10-0 on floor, and it was a really, really pretty
It was
routine.
beautiful. So that means she has gotten a 10 on every single event. Not in one meet, obviously, but on every single event. You talk about an all-arounder.
Yeah, Kyla. So congrats to her, especially for struggling the first two events.
Right.
She really put it out of her mindset and just got a 9975 on beam and then got a 10-0 on floor.
Yeah. And I think that's really good because those nerves, you'd want her to have them now before we go into the big meets.
Exactly.
You know, and again, she took it all in stride too. It was just,
Which is so Kyla.
It is Kyla. And it was funny. And again, for those that didn't get the chance to watch it, Miss Val talked about how she's got a genetics exam tomorrow morning, or the morning after the meet.
Yeah.
At 8:00 in the morning or something like that. So the only way to keep Kyla calm this week was to give her genetics problems.
Can't relate.
Not at all.
I don't even know what that really means.
It sounds hard.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I think the other part about that meet that was really fun was all the celebration for Miss Val.
Mm-hmm. If you guys haven't seen the senior video or Miss Val's farewell video, they're both on UCLA's Twitter page. I'll link them on the website, but Deanna Hong, who is the videographer for UCLA Gymnastics, as always killed it in the video section.
She really did.
She's always so great, and she captures the great moments. And they're really awesome videos. So if you haven't had the chance, watch them.
Yep, it was very much worth watching. Mm-hmm. We had another 10 on floor besides Kyla.
Kate, for her senior meet, got a 10, and it was an amazing routine.
It really was.
It's just like the way that she performs it. If she nails her double layout and she's not short or she doesn't over rotate it, she's going to get a 10.
Yeah.
Because her second two passes, there's really no landing deductions. And the way that her leap series is, there's no way she could really get a deduction on that. So that is like a perfectly crafted routine to get a 10-0.
Right. She has jumps out of the landings.
Right.
So she doesn't have to like stick the landing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is that harder on your body or easier on your body to keep jumping after the landing? You have to have control, I guess.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you jumped out of the way.
Not on purpose. Or like I'm thinking like, how could I do like a tumbling pass into a split on the floor? No, that is not easier on my body at all.
Okay, got it.
If you're flexible like her, then yeah, it's probably easier.
Oh, and Madison had a good meet.
She did. Her beam, I think that was her best beam of the season.
Bars was wonderful as always.
Yeah, she did really well. Oh, we forgot to mention Nia. She's like kind of hot or cold sometimes, but she was pretty hot on Saturday.
Yeah, and I think Nia's just matured this year, period. She was hot or cold last year. This year, she's been pretty on most of the time.
Most of the time. But I'm happy to see her in the bars lineup. Hopefully, she'll be in the bars lineup in postseason, because I feel like she also is just like going to nail her bar set.
The thing about UCLA is there's just so much competition among themselves.
Yeah.
It's just the bottom line.
It's true.
When you've got that much depth, I mean, especially floor. I mean, there's just so many people you could put on floor.
They got, what was their...
I think it was something crazy like 49.8. I mean, you'll look it up, but I think it was crazy high.
Yeah, they did fantastic. The other meet we watched, which I was barely hanging on by a thread watching it.
Yeah, you were.
Was LSU actually was at Arizona. So it actually didn't end up starting till like 10 or 9
Yeah.
East Coast time.
Yeah, we had watched an hour of, I don't even know, waiting for people to start, right? The flag.
The alumni. And then I think they were missing a judge. So it was just like a struggle.
Just to get started.
Yeah. But LSU did really, really well. They got the highest away score of the season. And it seems like they're also in the rhythm.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it is the end of regular season. So it's time for teams to start really just being consistent.
Yeah, and to me, that is, you've got kind of your Miss Val who has a dream team of gymnasts to choose from. I think true coaching also is when you don't have stars, but you're making stars. And I think that to me is what you're seeing with LSU. Whereas we can remember at the beginning of the year, we were like, this is going to be a different kind of season for them. But I think we're seeing now that they're figuring it out. And that to me is like the real sign of really good coaching.
And I can also see how much closer it's brought the team because they had that adversity in the beginning of season. They're all just so much closer and wanting to do well for each other,
right?
Which is really cool to see.
It is. I mean, that's the team dynamics. I think that's been the beauty, of the podcast that we do and the ability to go and meet teams and coaches is you really see the difference of the style of the coaches and how important that is to the team. I know we talked about that in a previous episode, but you truly do see it. We did get 2 10s from LSU. A first 10 ever from Kennedy. No, because she got one last week.
First 10 ever on vaults.
That's right.
But second 10-0 in a row.
For Kennedy.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. And we got to see Kennedy as a freshman do that national winning vault. And it really was that as a freshman. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was really pretty.
She did it again this weekend.
I know a lot of people were not as happy with the scoring at LSU. But I like that meet because you're not able to see Pac-12 teams and SEC teams face each other in the regular season. So it's cool to compare conferences in the regular season and not just at nationals.
I think that's so true because you remember we've been talking about how we felt the SEC judges were tougher. And so in this case, those SEC gymnasts had different judges. And they, deemed that 2 of the routines were 10-0 routines.
Yeah. One highlight for me was LSU's bar rotation. They were so amazing.
Yeah, and that's pretty typical.
It is.
From last year, too. I mean, bars has been their thing.
And it ended with Sarah Finnegan with a 10-0 on bars.
Well, and I think as long as you have Kennedy, Lexi, Sarah as your last 3 gymnasts on bars.
And you have to give a shout out to Sammy Durante.
Yeah,
who
you
starts
lead off
off
with Sammy. I totally agree.
She has a really, really great dynamic routine.
Yeah. And she nails it every time, knock on wood. Yeah. Now, they're still trying to figure out the gymnast in the middle.
Ruby.
Oh, no. So you got Ruby.
Who's pretty consistent, too.
Yeah, this year. Ruby's she's amazing this year, right? Her junior year.
I think Ruby next year as a senior is going to be like how Sarah Finnegan is for everyone. Like nobody's going to...
my favorite.
Nobody's
close.
Not going to like Ruby.
You can't not like Ruby.
She's just so happy.
And she's just so cute.
I know, yeah.
And her skills are different. I think that's what makes Ruby interesting,
true.
too. All of her skills are not the typical skills we see. So I think that's pretty
And you
cool.
can see the hard work that she really puts in, especially from last year to this year. She's like a completely different gymnast.
Well, let's start freshman year.
Yeah.
Right? Freshman year to sophomore year to junior year. I mean, it's just a very different gymnast. Different confidence level.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're seeing with Kennedy, too. That change that I think we've seen in Kennedy in just the last couple of meets is that confidence level.
Which is what we need going into postseason.
It is. And we have saved the best news for last about LSU.
Yes. With the 198.175 that they got at Arizona, they are now officially the number 1 seed going into the SEC championships this weekend.
Which, while I'm happy, obviously, it just doesn't sound right when we're talking about Florida.
I know. Florida had a bye weekend, which I feel like Florida, I haven't watched Florida compete in like months. I don't even know what they're doing.
Ever since Trinity went to the camp.
I know, right? Florida's just been gone. I know they actually haven't, but it's just they haven't had any. I wonder, because you know how in the beginning of the season they rank schedules? I wonder what Florida's schedule ranking is, because I feel like A, they're either really good, or B, they haven't had that hard of a schedule this year.
Or C, we're just not seeing them aired.
Maybe, but this fact has also been kind of a thorn in the Gymternet too, because for other sports, conference championships are determined by the regular season champion.
Right. Who has the most number of wins.
Exactly. But for gymnastics, it's determined by scoring.
Yeah.
So,
and at the end of the day, how important is the seeding?
If you're a good team, it shouldn't matter. Maybe the only time I would say it actually matters is if you're in the afternoon or the evening session.
Oh, yeah, it does matter. We've seen that before.
Yeah. But when it comes to what events you start on, if you're a good team, like I said, you should be able to start on any event and it be okay.
Yeah, but I don't think we've ever seen that. Starting on any event has been okay.
But it is ideal to obviously go in Olympic order.
Sure.
SECs, I think I'm looking forward to the most this weekend. That's going to be the most competitive.
I can't believe we're at SEC championships.
I can't either. And in addition to being the number one seed, LSU also is competing at home. SECs is in New Orleans. So you know those LSU fans are going to be coming out.
I wish we could be there.
I know. It would actually be like amazing.
It really was. But we've gone to New Orleans.
Yeah, we have. We have.
This year.
And not
yet.
Yeah.
I'm still recovering from Oklahoma.
Yeah. If you guys haven't heard about our LSU travels, just go back to that episode. Yeah. We had another adventure.
You go back. We won't go back. You go back and listen. We don't want to hear it again.
Yeah. So what other meets did we watch, Mom?
So we had the Georgia-Utah meet.
Yes. So Utah traveled to Georgia, which again was another Pac-12 SEC matchup.
Which, again, we love that.
Yeah. We weren't able to watch the entire thing, but Georgia actually pulled out the W.
No, we got to see the beginning, and that's when we were a little worried about Georgia, I think. Georgia looked just a little tentative, but clearly they came back.
Yeah, and I saw on Twitter that it just seemed a little bit more lackluster because I feel like this meet every year, either Utah ends up at Georgia or Georgia ends up at Utah. And I feel like it's usually a pretty talked about meet, but for some reason this year it just didn't seem as...
No, when we were watching, in the first two rotations, it felt a little sleepy.
Slow.
Yeah, it felt a little sleepy.
It was less than a tenth that Georgia won by.
That close.
Yeah. Michaela won the all-around. Congrats to both teams, really, because they had a great meet. Both had over a 197.
With Georgia beating Utah, it'll be interesting to see again if Denver stays in the position they are and Utah below Denver. That will be interesting when the rankings are out. And
what's interesting now that we're in postseason is that regional assignments are determined by the rankings. Mm-hmm. So the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th positions is going to be interesting. And those teams already are kind of on the bubble now that only 8 teams are going to nationals. So the regional assignments do matter for those lower ranked teams that aren't guaranteed spots at nationals.
Yeah, it's getting ready to get very interesting.
Can you imagine Michigan and Georgia at the same regional assignment?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
Mm-hmm. It's going to be really interesting.
I can't believe we're already at the time where we're discussing, who's going to go to nationals and what's the new format, because it's always been this thing that we've been talking about for weeks on end, but now we're here and we need to figure out, okay, these are the team that are going to nationals. If you do this, then you go to this.
It would be interesting. We did this at the beginning of the year where we asked people to project who they thought the top 3 teams would be in order. I wondered if that would be good if we did something like that again, now that we know a lot more than we knew 3 months ago.
Well, you know what's coming up. One of my favorite episodes that we do. Fan favorites.
Oh, is it that time?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Favorite floor routine.
I know. That's going to be hard.
You think it'll be Kate?
I don't know. I feel like Trinity's going to be winning a lot.
I'm Alicia.
Oh, yeah. Alicia, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, last year we did an episode where we asked people to say which were their favorite routines out of all of the gymnasts.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a little poll, because you guys know I love my polls on Twitter, voting, but you could also email us or tweet us just who your fan favorite is.
Mm-hmm. So do we have time to do the projection, or we're going to do fan favorites?
Well, I think also a question I could ask is, who do you think?
Okay. That's going to be fun. I think the last meet to talk about, because then I really want to get to the meet that we went to this week, is you had Alabama and Oklahoma.
Yeah. So Alabama actually ended up scoring their season high score, which is, I feel like, in true Alabama fashion. You can never really count on Alabama to come out of the gates running. Mm-hmm. They have always been a team that has really peaked at the end of season.
They have. I remember last year.
Yeah. So hopefully they continue to just stay on the right track. But I think in the beginning, in one of our first episodes, we both said we're pulling for Alabama. We just want them to do well.
We do. We did that last year with Georgia, and look at what's happened with Georgia. So I think it's Alabama's turn now.
Yeah.
All right. So with that said, we had the fun time of going on another field trip, but
A
closer.
local.
Exactly. A field trip closer to home, one that didn't involve planes or trains, just cars.
Just automobiles.
And not a Mustang.
No Mustang. Just an electric car.
Tugga. We got to see our home team. So we had the University of Maryland, which is a local team for us. We had GW, George Washington University, which is a local team for us. It's in Washington, D.C. We had Towson.
So all of like the locals, which is so cool.
And what's so cool about Towson is now Jason and Mary Fredericks are coaching there. So that's way cool. And then, of course, you had Pittsburgh and the University of New Hampshire. Yeah. So it was a big meet.
Yeah.
And, we spend so much time talking about these top teams. It was so much fun watching gymnasts that aren't in that, top that we always talk about, but the gymnasts are amazing and they compete all the same skills. Mm-hmm. And so it's just fun to watch.
And I was excited for you to come to this meet because if you remember, I've seen Maryland since like November when they had their inner squad.
That's right. You've gone to Maryland twice without me.
Yes, I've gone to Maryland twice without you. I've also seen GW previously. Yes. I haven't seen Towson.
Okay.
So it was interesting for me to see this kind of full circle thing because Maryland is also one of those teams that's been getting better and better week after week.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm seeing like my little babies just like prosper, which is cool.
It is cool. So a lot of fun.
So much fun. And, nothing beats just being able to go home right after the meet.
It really is.
But it was such a great meet with a lot of great gymnastics. And it was cool to see this atmosphere where there's so many teams. There were 5 teams on the floor.
Yeah. And all very, very different.
Yeah. So thanks for a great meet, Towson.
Super fans here, and one has a face sitting on her lap. Who are we looking at?
Erin Tucker. She's a senior.
She's a senior from?
Towson University.
From Towson. So she's been doing this for 4 years. Have you been coming to watch her the whole time?
Yes.
How does she feel about being done?
Very sad.
Yes.
Very sad.
Yeah. We were sad.
We cried.
And so where do y'all live?
Staten
Island, New York.
Yeah.
So have you had the chance to talk to her since you've come down yet today? Or?
Yeah, we came down yesterday.
Yeah.
You guys are great super fans.
Thanks.
How long are you going to keep holding the face in the lap, though?
I'm taking
We're
this
taking
home.
it, right back to Staten Island.
Yeah.
It's coming with us.
Yes.
Just going to put it in the back seat?
Yes. We'll talk to her.
Yeah.
The whole way home.
She's here and we can't have her.
Yeah.
Seatbelt around the face?
Yes.
Sure.
Safety first.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I'm sitting with
Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
So how was the meet today for you all?
It was good. It was really good.
Yeah. Now, are you?
Impressive.
Are you former gymnasts or?
No, our daughters are gymnast moms.
I'm a gymnast mom too, so I get that. Now the beautiful part of my life is my gymnast graduated from college and did gymnastics in college, but she's done now.
So is there life after gymnastics?
Yes, we do podcasts.
So you still come to gymnastics meets?
But you watch it very differently now. As a gym mom, what advice would you give future gym moms? Be nice to coaches is what I would say.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Be nice to judges.
And stay out of the coaching yourself.
I
Leave
know.
that to the coaches.
Don't try to coach at home. All right, so what was your best part about watching at today's meet?
I like that we were so close. We got to see all the action right up front.
Every time I come and sit in front of bars, I love to watch bars, and then I can look over and see floor at the same time. Sure. I can see everything from here. I can see vault.
Well, as a gym mom, I'm so glad to talk to you guys. All the best of luck in the future with your daughters.
Thank you. Dates this coming weekend.
So good luck at States, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, all the best to you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Joined by Jason Fredericks in person this time. So we're sitting here, we're waiting for the senior meet portion to begin. We've just watched 5 great teams compete. And it was, Chelsea, you're gonna help me, it was
Pittsburgh, Towson, University of Maryland, and UNH.
We need one more.
And GW.
And GW is George Washington University. And Jason has always said that we need to have coverage with teams beyond the top ones we already hear about. So that's why we came today.
Yeah.
So how was today's meet?
You know, everybody's still standing from all teams, and that's always a good thing, you know?
That's true. No injuries that we saw.
Everything went pretty well for everybody. I think for us, it's nearly our high score.
Hey,
and so
congratulations.
we're happy, you know, that we've I guess we didn't have anything unforeseen happen.
So what are you thinking about the East Coast and Towson, and are you missing home? And tell us about all that. Tell us about your new life.
You know, there's a lot of snow back home right now, and there's a lot of rain here. I still like the rain. I think it's pretty cool to walk outside and see it raining all the time, you know, which in Utah, that's not super common. But right now, they got a ton of snow, and I'm missing the hills just a little bit.
Just a little?
Yeah. No, but I like it here. I really do. I think it's... Towson's a good atmosphere, and I think there's a lot to do here with the program, you know, that still needs to be done, but we have everything we need to do it. We just need to do it. You know, I've been in a lot of places that have gyms that are not quite sufficient. Ours is. You know, we have everything that we need. You know, I mean, it could be, there's little things that we would change if we had our way, but it's actually really nice. And this facility here is awesome. You know, it's only like 5 years old. This is great. I want to see it filled. You know, and when it is, it's going to be loud and obnoxious and awesome.
Yeah, because it's loud now.
Yeah. This was actually a really good crowd. Good crowd here tonight.
Good. Well, as you all continue to grow, we will be a part of this audience, helping you grow with the audience as well.
I hope so.
Chelsea and I, when we talked earlier today, we said when we see Jason, he's got to give us an update on the video. Remember we talked earlier that we were hoping that teams would upload their videos. How has that gone this year?
With the women, there's only like 3 teams, I think, that are doing it. We're one of them. We get tons and tons of views on YouTube and social media and stuff, and so it's good for that. Our parents have loved it because they've got access to it. So every week they can see it, whether they were at the meet or not. You know, they've got everything. The men have been on fire. I think we've had every single routine that has been competed this year is online.
Really?
Yeah, which is huge. You know, and right now we're working with their judges organization, you know, so that we can put up a system where they can start polling comparable vaults, comparable floor routines, that kind of thing. And this summer, that's going to be a big push. In the end, I think a lot of programs don't have anybody who does it right now. And so you have to give somebody what is pretty challenging for a lot of people to edit anything, much less upload it all to YouTube and get it hooked up properly to the database and stuff like that. And so it's a lot, but I think it's gone over well. I think I know there's people who will do it next year.
In 4th place with a score of 194, the Towson University Tigers. In 3rd with a score of 195.05, the University of New Hampshire Wildcats. In second, with a score of 196.025, the George Washington Colonials. And in first place this afternoon, with a score of 196.45, the University of Maryland Terrapins.
Is the start of postseason. It's conference championships. Every conference championship is this weekend.
So you're going to send me a list.
I am.
Because we're not going to be together again this weekend.
We're not.
Which is a good thing. I really don't like being with you at this time. I really don't.
Like, I don't know.
You've got like ADD stuff happening.
I know. I was about to say, I don't know if this is my favorite day of NCAA gym, just because it's literally an all-day thing. So if you guys plan on watching a lot of the meets, make sure you have your chargers, make sure you got some snacks, because it starts from the East Coast all the way through to the West Coast.
Yep. And this is, again, when I don't text Chelsea, I don't call Chelsea.
Except for SECs. Last year, I think, or 2 years ago when LSU won SECs for the first time, we both were just like at our computers just watching.
That's true. But absent of that this year, I just leave Chelsea alone because whenever I would call or text, I'm interrupting her.
Yeah.
Something's going on somewhere.
You got to call at the right time if you're going to call.
Yeah. So I've got to figure out my technology.
Yeah. You're on your own. Like, if you got problems, you better call my brother.
I can't call her and say, Chelsea, I can't find this link. It's not going to work. So that's going to be fun this week.
Mm-hmm. And maybe we'll see some upsets. Who knows, honestly? Because, like, the thing about gymnastics, you just got to be good on the day that it matters.
I know. And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Because we can't be good every single day.
No. So, and good luck to all of the gymnasts. Hopefully it's not too much pressure for them. And guys, remember, gymnasts are human too. So let's not get too crazy.
And good luck to all the parents.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I know already for the parents, the heart palpitation is happening. The nerves are going on right now. I mean, it really is worse than being a gymnast is being a parent. And I know as gymnasts, you guys don't understand that, but as a parent.
No, I actually believe you. I do. Because, like, we get nervous, but it's kind of just like, it is what it is. I sucked, whatever. But for parents, it's like, you can't do anything about it. No. You're out of control.
And it's in your head the whole time, right? So good luck to the parents. You know, at the end of the day, remember that they're doing what they love. It's a fun day to celebrate the success that your daughters are at this level of their career, performing to thousands of people.
Mm-hmm. So let us know which conference championship meet you're looking forward to most. You can tweet us at Routine Podcast. You can email us at info@theroutinepodcast.com, or you can leave us a voicemail on our website, theroutinepodcast.com.
And I have to say, we haven't had a voicemail in a while.
That's true.
Go to the website, as Chelsea talked about. At the top navigation, you'll see something that says be a part of the conversation. You click that, scroll down, you'll see a microphone, click the microphone, and you very simply leave us a voicemail.
And if you guys are liking what you're hearing, be sure to give us 5 stars on the Apple Podcast app, and make sure you subscribe so that you never miss an episode.
It's been fun, Chelsea.
It has.
Talk to you next weekend.
Yeah, hopefully there's no tears on either of our ends.
Just don't forget to send me the list and the times and the links.
Oh, one last question for you. Who are you rooting for at the SEC championships? Which team?
LSU.
Oh, I didn't
well,
know
it
that.
could have been Florida.
That's true.
It could have been Georgia.
It could have been. It could have been Kentucky.
Probably not for me.
Maybe
but
Auburn.
Could have been. Not for me either. That could have been you. I mean, I'm a LSU and I'm a Florida.
And an Alicia fan.
And I was going to say because of Alicia's dance. And I'm a Georgia fan because you can't not root for Sabrina Vega and her team.
And Courtney.
Now, I do love Kentucky, and I love the other teams, but those top three for me, if any of those top three win, I'm fine.
I don't believe you.
If LSU wins, I'm screaming.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's who you actually really want to win.
I do.
They work, and not that the other teams don't work hard, but it doesn't come naturally to them.
Right. They are working for every 10th that they can get.
Yeah.
And they just happen to have Sarah Finnegan.
Yeah, that's just like a cherry on top.
So, but again, best of luck to all the teams. Best of luck to all the coaches, the gymnasts, and the parents.
And we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.